Yes, yes,
Thank
yes.
you. Am I audible for?
Yes, perfectly audible, Dr. Go.
Thank you. Thank you, Shubha Prada, and thank you, Dr. Nazneen Hussain and entire ITC team for first giving me opportunity as a keynote speaker and also giving our company opportunity to actually support this such a wonderful initiative of Eat Right India. And part of that, we are actually conducting this healthy eating habit webinar, and you have chosen a very right person, Dr. Nazneen, for conducting this. Why I'm saying, because Nazneen is not only a nutrition expert, but she is also a yoga expert. And yoga and nutrition combiningly only can give a holistic health, which is what we are aiming at. Can you put my presentation, please, Shubha?
Yes, the presentation is on screen.
Yeah, can you make a second slide, please?
Yeah, Samiksha, next slide, please.
Okay, when we talk about eat right, and if you recall, maybe a 50 years back when there was no buffet system, now today when we go to hotel, we generally have two kind of system. One is a la carte and one is buffet. Whenever we go to marriage ceremony, remember when I was a kid, I have a all the time pangat system, which somebody will be serving you rather than you are going and collecting the food. Now just take a break, take a long breath, and think about both the system. One is a Indian culture, one is a Western culture. In Indian thali, whatever is the food which is being served has some principle to it. So it includes rice, it includes curd, it includes two sabji, it includes one dal, it includes roti, it includes chutney, pickle, and vis-a-vis the right hand side about Western food, Western buffet system where all the good products are displayed there. It is your choice as per your likability and taste buds. You go and attack, and there is no stoppage to it because customer is the king, and you have to satisfy the customer, and fullest of happiness has to be given. In Marathi, because I am from Maharashtra and I have been, my mother used to, it's like it was a compulsion for us to, before eating, we has to actually, this was a Marathi shloka which we have to, every day we have to pray, and then uh, actually for the goddess Annapurna. जीवन करी जीवित्वा अन्न हे पूर्ण ब्रह्म उदर भरण नो हे जाणीजे यज्ञ कर्म. Though it is in Marathi, but little bit of Sanskrit, what it says that Anna hai Purna Brahma. Anna hi Pura Brahma hai. Brahma is something the most important aspect of our life. And Udhara Varana no hai Janija Yajna Karma. Food is not for only eating, it is a Yajna Karma, means there is a purpose. Whatever you are eating, it has its own purpose. So don't make your stomach as a dustbin. Whatever you are putting in, it is the Yajna Karma. Yajna Karma is the most important part where you have to choose very, very selectively what you are putting in the that yajna. So this is the what actually our thought process. Since we have Nazanin, and if you see Nazanin in your IDA, you have chosen a very wisely the quote of Praitya Upanishada, wherein in your IDA you have given one Sanskrit Subhashita. If I can recite that, Aham Annam, Aham Annam, Aham Annadaha, Aham Annadaha, Aham Annadaha, Aham Shlokakrut, Aham Shlokakrut, Aham Rutasya Prathamaja, Devebhya Purvam, Amrutasya Bhaicha Asmi, Yaha Ma Dadati Sa Ita Eva Ma Ava, Aham Annam, Aham Annam, Aham Annadam Advi, Aham Vishwa Bhuvanam, अवभ्य भावम अहम सुवर्ण ज्योति यह एवं वेद स उक्त फलम अश्रुते इति उपनिषद. I don't want to narrate the entire meaning line by line, but what it says in short, your body is nothing but what you eat. अहम अन्नम अहम अन्नम. मैं खुद बॉडी ही कहती है कि मैं खुद एक फूड हूँ. आप जो खाएंगे वैसा आपका बॉडी बनेगा. Just want to take the nutshell of this particular part of the Upanishad which is maybe a 7,000, 10,000 year old, which says जैसा आप खाएंगे वैसा आपकी body बनेगी. So you need to be very careful about eating what you are eating. So next slide, please. So eating and health is so important. And when we talk about soft power of India, it is very important to have a healthy mind and healthy body. Otherwise, most of our expenses will be on our Medicare and then innovation and various invention. Who will do if we have a sick population? So healthy mind, healthy body is the most important thing for the progress of the country. Honorable Prime Minister have highlighted importance of millets. Nazneen will be talking about the millets, and millets are the most important part in our Indian society. And we used to have various festivals for propagating and promoting the millets. Every festival is connected with some or other millets. And even when we say fasting, we have purposely put some kind of millet as a part of the fasting ingredient. Next slide, please. So millets are so important. Next slide, please. So there are two kind of millets, major millets and minor millets. Pearl millet, sorghum, and finger millets, the ragi or jawar. These are the major millets. Minor millets, we have savai, kuchki, proso millet, foxtail millet, kudo millet. All these millets are high in fiber. All millets are high in protein. All millets are high in antioxidant, which Nazneen is going to talk, and they are very, very useful for the health. And I request you, our culture is that we have only moved to the wheat and rice. Now most of our cereals are wheat, rice, and maximum some oil seeds. We should make a plan of incorporation of two millets every month in one or other form. And slowly, we will get habituated to that. And even the farmers will start growing those. Today, 2023 is the International Millet Year, and India is working towards that. And it is very, very important because it is cheap, number one. Number two, it's wholesome and it is a superfood. Next slide, please. So when we talk about millet and nutrient mapping, there are so much of nutrients like zinc is there, in kodo millet folic acid is there, little millet energy is good, proso millet protein is high, foxtail millet is thiamine is there, finger millet calcium is high, dietary fiber, sorghum the magnesium is there apart from the fiber, and the glycemic index of most of the millet is below 50, which is very good for your health management, weight management, and also the diabetic management. Next slide. So millets can helpful in your diabetic management, hypertension management, obesity management, anemic for anemic people, for gut health, and cardiovascular disease. Particularly the people who have just recovered from the COVID, it sucks your energy, and for sustainable energy use, and if you want to be energetic, you need to have a sustainable energy food, and millet can play a vital role. With this, I thanks ITCFSAN for giving me opportunity. Eat right. I don't think this is a training, this is a habit. And particularly if you have a sister, brother, and the younger generation below 15-year-old, please bring the habit of eating right in their early age, so their taste bud will get developed for that, and the entire new generation will become a healthy generation. Otherwise we are asking for a trouble. I don't know World War III will happen or not, but if we do not eat right, definitely we will be having a nation with 140 crore population, and 50% of the population is a sick population. I don't think we require any war to happen. Automatically the country will become poor, because unhealthy people is the big issue to any of the country. So I think it is our national importance to take care of the health, and health can be taken care only through the healthy eating and healthy habit. And India is known for this. for healthy eating and healthy habit. Only the point is, are we aware about it? And are we doing a westernized, blind implementation? We should become a scientific rather than westernized. We should adopt a good system from the western part of the world. We should not become westernized. With this, thank you, Shiva, for giving opportunity. And if any query, I will be happy to get back. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prabodh, for setting the context so beautifully and giving that keynote address. Point you raised is really being raised by numerous people, including celebrities like Veer Sangvi. I recently read an article where he was questioning the one pot habit that all of us have gotten into from convenience or ordering in or simply trying out new things. We tend to just stick to one dish or slimming down. Tend to stick to one dish, which does affect the holistic nutritive value. And I welcome Dr. Nazneen Hussain to come and share her thoughts, give us insights, tricks and tips on how we can lead a healthier lifestyle. Welcome, Nazneen. It's such a pleasure to have you with us on this platform once again. And over to you for taking the session forward.
Could you please unmute? I think your mic's on mute.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Shubha, Dr. Prabodh, the entire team at ITCFSAN and this entire Eat Right movement, which is a very well envisioned thing. And I think Dr. Prabodh beautifully summed it up that health is everybody's responsibility. But I think the biggest responsibility when it comes to health is pretty much summing what he said. I also have the same thing to say, as the food, so the mind. As the mind, so the man. Which means जो खाना आप खाते हो, इसका direct impact हमारे thinking के ऊपर, and it becomes a behavior. The way we behave is the kind of person we turn out to. So Anna Brahman is a very, very important concept that we are driving through the platform of Eat Right. So today when we look at nutrition, essentially good nutrition and poor nutrition are pretty much related. You eat better, your physical health is better. You eat poor, immunity reduces, and there is decreased productivity. Okay, so आज जो है हम कहानी बोलेंगे एंटीऑक्सीडेंट्स, फाइबर, प्रीबायोटिक्स की. ठीक है, तो एक simple, let's look at our health from the last point of it. Look at a dustbin. So if your wet waste is high, which means that your fiber intake is high. If your dry waste is high, which means you have consumed a lot of refined processed foods. And so when you look at a movie like Piku and you look at Amitabh Bachchan and he's so distressed, irritated, that typically talks about gut health, right? Or gut health directly is related to mood, right? And so lesser the fiber, lesser the antioxidants, bad the mood, more disease the condition, right? And so if we look at these four various thalis from South India, Gujarat, North India, Bengal, and I think Dr. Prabodh also said that Indian diet by far was a very nice diet. However, what has gone wrong is not the foods. The foods per se are still very brilliant, but I think the quantity in which we eat has gone a little haywire. And so most of the times our starch is high. The cereals that we eat are very high, the proportion. The protein becomes lesser. Okay, the protein also is an important part of the immunity. The vegetables which give us the antioxidants, the anti-inflammatory foods even becomes lesser. And so whilst these traditional foods are good, I think we need to re-look at the proportions. So the correct way to eat is this, wherein you divide the plate into 4 parts, make equal halves, so only 1/4 is cereal, 1/4 of it is protein. You include a lot of greens. So 1/4 is your raw vegetable and 1/4 of it is your cooked vegetable with your fruit, and add a curd or any other protein source to it. So definitely immunity is not one single food. When we look at immunity, we look at all these 5 food groups, which is milk and milk products, millets and pulses, cereals, fruits and vegetables, oils, fats and nuts. So all of these together work towards building immunity. Now, when we talk about forgotten foods for the future, like Dr. Prabodh already briefed up on all these beautiful millets which we already had. Sadly, today we think of them as bird food. हम बाजार लाते हैं पर देते हैं birds को. Okay, so the birds are getting healthier, but are we really getting healthier is a question which we need to ask ourselves. So, like we know, there are 2 types of grains, the naked grains and the husk grains. The naked grains or the bigger grains like the jawar, bajra, ragi, these are brilliant cereals. We just saw the health benefits as well. And they require very little processing and can be directly used. The husk grains like the little millet, kodo millet, foxtail millet, उनका जो ऊपर का लेयर होता है, जो हस्क होता है, इसको डीहल करना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी होता है. Otherwise it gives a little off flavor, and that is why most people don't like to have it. Like Dr. Prabodh said, it is a poor man's food, but you know, when the Chinese were fought, and way back, even the Chinese emperor actually had the jawar, that is the sorghum, and it was one of the most strongest foods. If you look at the Rajasthani war, and the people actually survived only on one bajra laddu, and when the Mughals went back and they asked when they lost the war and went back, they were asked, what is it that you would like to take back from India? और उन्होंने तब बोला था कि we'd like to take बाजरा, because एक खाली बाजरा लड्डू पे इनका पूरा वॉर जीत लिया लोगों ने, because food was very little. So such is the power of all these millets. They are absolutely beautiful, cheap, and are easily available. Today, they're back in the system. They are fats known as fitness foods. We use them as gluten-free diets. They are high in dietary fiber. Okay, and also they are very good for the environment because पानी बहुत कम लगता है. So it can grow in really dry, arid areas. It can grow as a rotational crop. They are nitrogen-fixing plants, which means that the farmers actually benefit, and it also helps in reducing the carbon footprint. So overall, a great thing, and you can definitely call it's a very smart food because it's good for you, it's good for the planet, and it's good for the small farmer. Okay, with this, we have enormous health benefits. In fact, millets also are known to have nutraceutical properties. During pandemic, we saw a whole lot of nutraceuticals coming in, especially iron, zinc, vitamin C. So magnesium, these are all immunity building, and millets inherently have these nutraceutical properties. Today, a lot of people are also becoming wheat sensitive, or their wheat, especially refined wheat, very refined atta like maida, things made out of maida are causing a lot of inflammation. So more and more people wish to go gluten free, and millets inherently are gluten free because they don't have the gluten protein which is present in the wheat. Okay, they also have a lot of alkaline nature, so it protects against many diseases. It helps in reducing visceral fat, which is the fat around the stomach, and also the obesity. And it may help in a lot of immunity building. Like we saw in Dr. Prabodh's slides also, the high calcium, the high protein, especially the colors of the ragi, the bajra, the foxtail, all of these are very high and in essential amino acids, in vitamins, and overall they help us a lot. They also help us to control our blood sugar levels because the fiber content is so high that automatically it makes it a low GI food. And all the people who are in the pre-diabetic category or struggling to lose weight or even diabetic, can use millets, and suddenly you will see this entire blunt in the sugar level. However, one thing you have to remember, that quantity, regular khana, just because it's good, that doesn't mean that you can eat like 3-4 bhakris. You still have to control the quantity, right? It may also help you in controlling your cholesterol, and also reduce inflammation, especially the triglyceride levels. There are a lot of studies which show that millets actually help in reducing the triglyceride level. Anemia, one of our biggest challenges, especially in women, and a lot of studies actually show that consumption of millets, especially bajra and ragi, can help us reduce the rate of anemia. So how much, you don't really have to take any supplements. It just comes as a part of your everyday thali, and it's yummy and you enjoy it, and you still have your iron levels high. Okay. It's gluten-free grain and can be used in various preparations. Okay, some drawbacks are there because millets do contain some anti-nutritional compounds, and especially for those who have an impaired thyroid function, it those people should restrict using the millets. If you process the millets at home, then you can do it. Now, how can you process it or reduce the anti-nutritional quantity? Is you soak it overnight, you drain it. तो इसको soak करो, इसको sprout करो, इसको ferment करो, इसको malt करो. All these ways will help us to reduce the anti-nutritional quality of the millet, and then they can be safely used regularly. Okay, so these are some of the pictures I put just in case of a lot of you all were wondering what they are. So this is foxtail millet. It's a brilliant millet, can be used in replacement to your rice as your pulao, biryani. You can use it as you can grind it to a flour and use it in the idli, dosa, khichdi, whichever way you want to. Bajra, again, we all know bajra, it's pretty popular, helps in maintaining blood glucose levels, helps in bone management and weight management, and also has a high iron content. Kodra, this is a fasting food and can be used regularly. In fact, the fiber content here is also very high, and so it is used also in prevention of constipation. Jowar, again, very popular. जवार से आप रोटी बना सकते हो, भाकरी बना सकते हो, बिस्किट्स बना सकते हो. These days gluten-free cakes are pretty much in vogue, so you can pretty much use. It's very versatile and can be used in replacement to rice and wheat in most of the dishes. Ragi, again, very yum. Especially today, a lot of people also are becoming intolerant to milk. तो जब मिल्क पीते हैं तो इनको challenges आते हैं, even young kids, and so mothers often worry कि अब now this child is not drinking milk, how will he get his calcium content? So ragi is that one food, if you have like ground ragi milk or use it in a porridge or in idli, the calcium content is almost equivalent to milk, and so it can be used on a regular basis. Even for women, ragi can be a great replacement to wheat because it also helps in increasing the iron content significantly. Buckwheat, kuttu, again, very Indian. Kuttu atta can be used. You can make dosas, noodles, porridges. I mean, you can use it like any other cereal in a very, very versatile form. Quinoa, not so Indian, but now a lot of Indian farmers are growing it. Again, it has all the essential 9 amino acids और बहुत फायदा करता है. It's slightly more expensive, so probably you can use the cheaper ones. If at all one has access to quinoa, you could also use quinoa. So these are some of the yummy dishes you could make, right from a barfi to an idli to a porridge to a roti to a pulao. You could pretty much make everything at a household level. It's very simple. It's just, I think, the important part about using millets is, I think, just changing mindset. अगर आपने सोचा कि okay, I need to kind of shift at least one meal. If you start replacing one millet, okay, to a cereal, you'll slowly start seeing the difference. You will see a lot of changes in your waist size. If you go completely gluten free, you'll suddenly feel that the jeans or your pants that you're wearing is at least 1 or 2 inches looser, and that makes you feel much better, because all the flatulence, all the bloating is actually gone when one starts eating millets. So you can almost overnight start seeing the difference when you start consuming the millets. Okay, now going on to the second part of my lecture. When we spoke about millets, we also spoke about a lot of antioxidants, but now these antioxidants are the free radical scavengers. ये सारा बीएमसी का काम करते हैं, आते हैं पूरे बॉडी में से कचरा जो है, कूड़ा जो है, उठा के लेके जाते हैं, and they kind of do the work of destroying it. So they actually help in cleaning the entire body, right? And we all feel the effects of these free radicals on our health, be it from aging skin to asthma to stroke to aging eye, or especially now during the pandemic, a lot of us are using the screen and eye numbers have shot up. You start feeling tired all throughout the day. Radiation, cancer, aging, all these are effects of the free radicals. And so overall we can say that our wrecked wellness is because of various things, which would include food, not like unlike before. Today we do have a lot of adulterated foods. There may be a lot of malabsorptions. Water, sometimes people don't have access to clear water. Plus we make our own life complicated using a lot of aerated beverages, alcohol consumption, too much of tea, coffee. Air again can be a challenge, and our lifestyle, irregular sleep timings, all of these cause a wreck in our wellness. And thus, when we look at other habits, they further complicate and they completely destroy our gut lining. Plus the OTC, that's the all-time culprit, which is all these free medicines that we keep popping in our body, actually causes dysbiosis, which means a complete imbalance in the entire body. Now, because of that, the entire body has a lot of stress. Okay, and for that we need to strengthen our immune system. And so let us now in this section see who are the friends of our immune system. So when we look at the immune system, these are all the things which are actually present in your own kitchen. And so today I'd like to say that the kitchen is our own kitchen pharmacy. इसमें almost 70% of the times you find your solutions. So eat your rainbow. Make sure that you're eating colors from every food group. Okay, don't concentrate only on one single food group. So eat your greens, eat your phytonutrients, which would give you a resveratrols, antioxidants, phenolic compounds, all your yellow, red, orange colored fruits and vegetables, extremely important. Okay, so make sure that once when you're including all of this, especially phytonutrients, these are good for your eye, for your healthy immunity, healthy growth. The ones like the purple color, which is a rare color, however in this season a lot of them are already there, like the grapes, the onion, the beetroots, the pomegranates. These are also good for your cognition, and they also help in fighting cancer. And also post-COVID, immunity has become a reason for everyone to kind of, work on their health reasons. So some of the things which are best friends and which we should include would be omega-3 fatty acids. These actually help in improving our immune systems, right? Then the vitamins like vitamin A, you can include them from all the red, yellow, green colored fruits and vegetables. Include them in your curry, salads, pickles. जो भी खाना खा रहे हो, make sure that you eat them. Vitamin D, extremely important that we take at least 20 minutes of sun exposure. Now, what is a good time to take sun? Ideally, the time between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. is one of the best times because that is the time when the sun rays fall perpendicular at a 90 degrees. पहले के ज़माने में हम बोलते थे early morning, late शाम, but now that theory is completely changing because when the sun comes, it just reflects and slides off. So taking this exposure for 20 minutes between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. is an absolute must. Also, other things like fatty fish, eggs, liver also give us some amount of vitamin D. Today, FSSAI also has, taken this initiative of food fortification, and a lot of foods like vitamin D, vitamin A are fortified, especially in milk, in cereals, in oil, so that this rampant vitamin D deficiency which is there is actually reduced. Other things like carotenoids, we often hear about them. So tomatoes, carrots, all the greens, these give us carotene, lutein, lycopenes, extremely benefit. Most of the times we see them on skin creams, but imagine if you eat them on a regular basis, how beneficial it could be. A thing about tomatoes, and I think we, us as Indians, we always do that. We always cook the tomatoes. So हम कांदा और टमाटर की ग्रेवी बनाते. So this cooking action actually helps in activating the entire carotenoid. Vitamin C, very important. Right from your amla being the highest source of vitamin C to guava, peru, amrud being the second highest. India has one of the most highest sources of vitamin C. We've also traditionally used them right from, making chawanprash to murabbas to all of them. But fresher the consumption of fruit, the better it is because vitamin C is a water soluble vitamin. So include at least 2 fruits every day. Most of the fruits will have vitamin C and they actually help in the entire immunity and also support cellular function. When we look at, vitamin E, again, the seeds, the nuts, these are extremely important. Use them in terms of, making your smoothie. So if you're having a smoothie in the morning with oats and say an apple, add some seeds like a flax seed or a sunflower seed. Is the most simplest way to add it to a porridge or to a smoothie and include it. Also, you can like traditional recipes like javasachi chutney, like flaxseed chutney, is one of the most easiest ways to include all these seeds in our diet. Our other challenges today is zinc and selenium because there's a lot of damage which happens inside. So normally अगर हमको हाथ पे लगता है तो we normally apply sofromycin and we'd apply a band-aid and we say okay, let this hand rest. But what happens to all the damage which happens inside the body? It needs some repair. And so when we look at zinc and selenium, these are the things which worked as an ointment inside the body. So include plenty of nuts, seeds. Selenium again is a very important vitamin. It comes from all the seafood and the protein meals, and all of them are extremely important in reducing this damage and inflammation. It could be added in various recipes, powder it and add it. You can bind it to a dough, you can mix it in a chutney, you can sprinkle it over a roti or a paratha, add it to your khichdi. Eat it just as a plain mukhwas. So mixed seed, like flax seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, all of them can be just mixed like a mukhwas and then eaten is a very easy way to include them. Prebiotics. Very important that today the gut is also called the second brain. And so जब पेट खराब होता है, और हमने ये बहुत सालों पहले भी सुना है कि अगर पेट खराब है तो ये बीमारियों का घर है. And so very important that we populate our gut with healthy bacteria, and these bacteria which help in growing are called the prebiotic bacteria. So right from your onions, garlic, banana, oats, flax seeds, wheat bran, choker वाला जो आटा होता है, millets, All of these have tremendous amount of prebiotics, and so they create a base where the good bacteria, that is the probiotic bacteria, start growing further. Probiotic bacteria, very important. I'm sure every single person has heard about it. So in Indian foods, it comes from a lot of fermented foods. However, many people ask, does dahi have probiotics? So it has good bacteria, but to get that colony forming units, you will have to buy a commercial preparation which has the mentioned probiotic. Yeah, but these are also homemade probiotic foods which you could also include on a regular basis. Herbs and condiments, and we as Indians are so lucky, right? मसाला का डब्बा खोला कि सारा हर्ब, सारा immune boosters हमारे हाथों में है, right? So you can add it to your teas, your decoctions, add it to your chutneys, use it in your various vaghars. But every single condiment here in this picture has tremendous value, and it helps us in it has a lot of antiviral activity, which means that it can actually kill viruses. So also these, if you have a scientific name, these are called polyphenols, and they actually help in neutralizing the free radicals as well. These are some of our traditional spices, right from your ginger, garlic, almonds, tulsi, kalonji, all the vitamin C foods. Coconut, for that matter, is a wonderful food which is very high in anti-inflammatory properties. Walnuts, tomatoes, star anise seeds, जो स्वीट पोटैटो होता है, मोरिंगा के लीव्स, सेजुन के पत्ते जो होते हैं, and turmeric. All of these are tremendous potential immunoboosters and could be used. One word of caution: during COVID, a lot of people abuse this a lot. So just for you not to overdo this, I have given these specifications. Don't go beyond that, because then it will cause a lot of GI distress. But itna kafi hota hai, it's a lot, and you could easily consume this in various preparations. Yeah, these are some of the other anti-inflammatory foods which one could easily use. See, the dark chocolate also, so it's quite yummy and nice, and you could actually enjoy it. Protein again is important, because at the end of it, you have to remember that when you're talking about increasing iron, it does use protein. When you're talking about maintaining weight, it does use protein. Protein is required. When it is about maintaining your blood sugar levels, protein is required. Higher the muscle mass, higher the immunity. So protein foods again are very important. Make sure that you eat a protein food. Include proteins, that is your dal, your dahi. If you're a non-vegetarian, probably a piece of non-vegetarian. I think Shubha madam just spoke about this one pot meal as we started the thing. तो अगर जब हम ऐसा one pot meal खाते हैं या खाली सब्जी रोटी खाते हैं, the entire protein element goes missing, जिसकी वजह से we slowly start having a downgrade, because अब जो है protective factor जो है नहीं है, जो पेट भरने वाला फैक्टर है नहीं है. That is why we overeat, we overgorge, because there is nothing in this meal except for vegetables which can create some satiety. So very important that we look at a balanced thali and include protein in every single meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah, these are some of the simple protein options that I have given you. So breakfast, you can include a paneer sandwich or a moong dal chila or a besan chila, idli sambar. Lunch, your dals, curry, sambar could be included. Snacks, you could snack on nuts, seeds. All of these, also the sattu which is there, these are all fabulous sources of proteins one could eat. Okay, sprouting again increases the vitamin C, so you get the benefit of eating the pulse, the fiber, and the vitamin C. Drink enough water. Okay, hydrate yourself with soups, with the green tea, all the herbal decoctions that we spoke about. Milk, if you are able to tolerate milk, buttermilk. infused water. You can use a lot of seeds like your sabza or your chia seeds and can make some beautiful detox drinks with this. And your kitchen is your pharmacy. Most of the solutions lie in there. So these are some of the anti-inflammatory foods which you could use, like the broccoli. If you don't have broccoli, even the phool gobi or the cabbage is an equivalent to the same. Methi ke dane, fabulous benefits. These are all called functional foods. तो रात को 1 चम्मच मेथी का दाना भिगा दो, सुबह को उसको पानी के साथ जब पी लेते हैं तो ऑटोमेटिकली कॉन्स्टिपेशन रिड्यूस हो जाता है, एलडीएल कोलेस्ट्रॉल कम हो जाता है, इन्फ्लेमेशन कम हो जाता है और ब्लड शुगर लेवल भी कम हो जाता है. दालचीनी और सिनेमन, ब्रिलियंट इफेक्ट्स. बेसिल सीड्स और तकमुरिया और सब्जा, यू कैन ऑल्सो यूज चिया सीड्स. हल्दी, वन ऑफ द मोस्ट पावरफुल एंटीऑक्सीडेंट्स. इट्स लाइक हम हल्दी दूध हमेशा पीते हैं, right? But when America took it and patented as turmeric latte, suddenly we all woke up and said, nahi, haldi doodh hamara hai, we bought it back, right? One word over here is because haldi requires a little fatty medium, we always have it with milk, and add a pinch of pepper when you're having haldi milk, because in that way, the piperine from the pepper increases the absorption of the haldi almost 2000%. So when you're having haldi milk, add a pinch of pepper to it. A wheatgrass, again, brilliant. It is very high in iron. It helps in boosting immunity. You can almost grow wheatgrass in your own garden. Garlic, again, brilliant. Use it in the chutney, your tadkas. Berries, all forms of berries, right from jambul to the setur to whichever berries are there, the boar, all of them could be used. Oats, again, a very high fiber product and can be used on a regular basis. Oats को आप simply powder भी कर दोगे, and if you add it to gravy, vegetable or the soup, it will give a nice creamy effect. So if you just don't like to eat oat porridge, never mind, you can use the oats powder in various preparations. And there is the 2 inch of muscle, which is a naughty muscle, and it rules the world, correct? So that's where we all know about all these healthy foods, but suddenly when it comes to taste, सब कुछ हेवाए हो जाता है. So food and mood are directly connected, and so when one is stressed, most often choices of wrong food, especially fried foods, sweet foods, because there's a lot of sweet craving which happens, and so use dark chocolate. Okay, use almonds, use walnuts, use banana, use a nice green smoothie. All of these actually will increase your tryptophan levels, okay, which will then get converted to serotonin, which is actually a good, great mood enhancer, and hence it helps in craving, reducing craving. One of the biggest forms of inflammation is stress, and stress eating today we know is a known thing, and especially long hours on the computer, easy access to food, too much of TV watching, Netflix eating, all of these are newer habits which have come in, and so we need to break this cycle of food, and you can choose any of these foods to and any of these healthy snacks like makhana, puffed rice, dhokla, sorted salads. Hummus again can be a great dip. So instead of using mayo, you could make a homemade hummus. Fruits, okay? Cut down on caffeine. One of the biggest challenges people now see is lack of sleep, and so cut down on caffeine. Some of the inflammatory foods would be too much of junk foods, eating too much of refined carbohydrates, fried foods, sugar sweetened beverages, processed foods, trans fats, even trans fats at home, like typically when we are frying a samosa and the moment the oil starts smoking up, okay, the smoking point actually, once the oil attains its smoking point, it is full of free radicals. फिर कितना भी fruit vegetable खा लो मर्जी, पर अगर if this oil is exposed to high temperature and repeated use of oil, it is full of free antioxidants, radicals. So be careful about it. Too much tea and coffee can be used as a stimulant, but too much tea and coffee also blocks the nutrient absorption. So 1 cup in the morning and 1 cup in the evening is fine, but don't overdo it because it will start interfering with all the nutrient absorption like the calcium, iron, and all the other antioxidants. Reduce alcohol. This is my own masala I have created. So a lot of people ask, madam, ye bahut difficult hai, ye seed, ye nut khao. So what I have done is I've taken all of them and mixed all of them, made it into a powder, and add 1 teaspoon whenever you're making a dal or a sabzi or any pulao. And so it's easy. So you make 1 box, leave it in the fridge, and it can last you for the entire month. So you can make your own. You can also click a picture of this and use it. So either whichever way you want, you can make your own health pack masala. And it's one of the most easiest ways to deliver nutrients to your family. Okay. And last but not the least, eat mindfully, create an ambience to eat. Don't eat from a box, don't eat directly. Sit and eat. If you're angry, if you're mad at somebody, please don't eat. Please don't skip meals. Keep a eating journal. Okay. Plan your meals ahead of time. जब grocery के लिए जाते हो तो कुछ खा के जाओ. Don't go hungry, because when you go hungry, your mind always wants to pick up all the wrong kinds of things. So even when you're ordering on Amazon or Big Basket or whichever the platforms are, eat your meal and then start ordering. So eat mindfully. Okay. And avoid too much of sugar. Food and mood are directly connected. And finally, it is all a holistic life, right? So good food, sleep, physical activity, sunlight, social connect, all of them actually lead to a very meaningful life, right? So with that, thank you so much. And I will be more than happy to take all the questions. This is my last slide. It says recipe for happiness, and it says 2 heap cups of patience, 1 heart full of love, 2 hands full of generosity, 1 head full of understanding. Mix all the ingredients well. Sprinkle generosity and kindness. Add a dash of faith and mix well. Serve it smilingly to everyone you meet. And that is a perfect recipe for happiness for all of you all. So stay happy, stay safe, eat healthy, and pick on to a physical activity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. That was a very informative presentation. Indeed, I believe that all the participants enjoyed it a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Samiksha.
We have a few questions from our participants.
Sure.
I would also urge the participants, if they wish to unmute and ask their ma'am themselves. Antioxidants is quite a taboo topic among most of the consumers. So when people hear this particular word antioxidants, it's usually like it's too technical or way too complicated. So when we explain it to a layman, how should we explain antioxidants to a layman?
So it's simple, right? There are various factors which create stress in our body. Okay, right from the food that we eat to the environment that we are, to like something as simple as I'm outside in a hotel and I'm drinking water from this packaged drinking water. So overall, each of these things are creating stress. They release some kind of endocrine disruptors. Okay. And because of which, slowly and steadily, our body does have some innate capacity to fight but after a while that capacity starts diminishing. And so the only thing which can get it up is correct eating. And so when you start eating foods which are high in antioxidants, like I explained, all the different colors, all the 7 colors, each of these nutrients then start fighting with these free radicals which are generated, and they actually destroy them. Okay. However, now it is a war that if the free radicals are higher and the healthy food is lesser, the system slowly starts moving to a disease condition. So that would be right from cancer to diabetes to obesity to PCOS to acne. It begins simple, right from acne to hair fall, and then moving on to the bigger things. So this is how the antioxidants, but the moment you start increasing these antioxidants, all of these radicals, free radicals which are called, are destroyed, and eventually the person starts feeling much better. So it's a two-way thing. You increase the colors, all your fibers, your proteins, and antioxidants increase.
Ma'am, there are a few facts around that most of the nutrients in the millets get lost in processing or production. So could you please verify if that's a myth or it's actually a fact?
So one processing which we could do is at a household level, where we slightly roast the millets and we kind of sprout them to reduce the anti-nutritional property. There are like I mentioned, the smaller millets. Okay, they have the hulling. They have the thick layer, which is the kadwa layer, which is there, the bitter layer. So this millet needs to be dehulled. So for that, a processing is required. Okay. However, today, uh, a lot of products are extremely highly processed. So if we have jawar, and if they are highly processed to a very refined form, then that's not something which is desirable. So as a consumer, what I advise you to do is read labels. And whilst processing is not such always a bad thing, because some amount of processing one always requires, right? Otherwise it's hard to consume. So don't go in for the very refined things like the the biscuits, or even you get a millet biscuit. So today a lot of millets are also used and abused. So don't go for those kind of preparations. But otherwise, some amount of processing is required and is needed for it to be absorbed in a better optimum format. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that answer. Ma'am, we have one more question in the chat box.
Yeah.
What are the analysis like tests for antioxidants that one can check in fruit juices? Also, is it necessary to check the protein content of fruit juices while
Okay.
consuming?
So fruits don't have protein, right? So the fruit juice also won't have a protein content, unless and until you are looking at a preparation which has an added whey protein. But otherwise, fruits inherently are carbohydrate foods. They have more fiber and antioxidants like vitamin A, vitamin C, but they won't have any protein. So fruit juice also won't have. And test for antioxidants, Shubha, you are the better technical person to answer that.
I don't think that there is a need for testing of antioxidants. However, yes, fresh juices will always have a higher percentage of antioxidants than those that have been heat treated. Many of our Tetra Pak juice cartons, for example, do get pasteurized. Pasteurization controls temperatures to an extent to minimize this antioxidant loss. But there is, of course, a small percentage loss that happens. There is really not a need to test for antioxidants in fruit juices. I think the communication here that ma'am has been trying to share is that the antioxidants are not one compound. They are a range, a group of different compounds which you will find differently, and an easy way for a consumer to incorporate all of these in our many of these in our diet is to look at the colors. So a purple to a red to a yellow will give me different compounds from the antioxidants, which will have a cumulative larger benefit for me.
Right.
From a testing perspective, no, there is no need to test for either protein. We do not expect protein in fruit or fruit juices, definitely. And antioxidants also, there is no need to do these tests.
A lot of times, some of them could be fortified. So fortification is another process. Today, it's a highly safe process. In fact, it's vetted by FSSAI on the safety and tolerance limits. So a lot of them will be fortified. So that's another thing, but there's no need to check for the levels, like Shubha ma'am said. Right.
It's an interesting question, Nazneen. We do hear of, advice, so to say, of not mixing your cereal. Question here is, can you mix your millets? Will it impact the efficiency of benefit that we expect?
No, you can definitely mix millets, especially like a lot of people at even household levels do it, because every millet, like if you're mixing ragi and jawar and bajra, each of them have different nutrients, and so you can definitely look at mixing it and making it as a multi-grain mix. So that is completely possible. It does not affect the absorption levels at all.
But I just want to make one point.
Yes, Dr. Prabodh.
I think what is important here when we are hearing this, and most of the nutritionists are talking about ye khao, and everybody is giving their good input. What is important is that our next generation, initial in the nutrition also, it's talk about initial 1,000 days, but after 1,000 days, I'm saying about initial 9 years of your upbringing. Eating is very important, not for nutrition only, but for the your 2 inch of tongue, how to develop the taste. If you do not get the taste of the different millets and different fruits, vegetable, which are supposed to be, you should be eating, the pancreas which we have, and it is very important that pancreas should able to digest what you are eating, and if you are not putting that kind of load on your digestive system, it will never like that particular part you will forget to digest. So what we are getting the now the scientific understanding, जितना आप ज्यादा खा सकते हो अलग अलग चीजें बचपन में अपने बच्चों को देने चाहिए, because it is not only a nutrition, now it is a physiology. Otherwise you will forget, you will only keep eating butter and cheese and then whatever you are eating, and then that become like a habit, and your stomach gut health, you will never get a different pancreatic juices to digest that. So it's very very important, it is very very important. And your 2 inch of tongue should not control whatever the body height of 4 feet or 5 feet or 6 feet of height, because that literally controls everything. And that is become a remote control. जैसे आप remote control से you are changing your channels and you are forwarding your movies, that should not happen with the food कि जो नहीं चाहिए वो निकाल दो. That become like a really criminal. It is not only about, so I hope you're understanding, it's not only nutritional science now, this become a physiology, and you have to create, you have to make your gut ready to absorb.
I completely agree actually with Dr. Prabodh. In fact, now we speak about dietary diversity. And so even if you increase a millet or two every week, like Dr. Prabodh earlier also mentioned, and include all these different vegetables, okay, the dietary diversity increases. In fact, we say that eat at least 30 different kinds of foods in a week. Okay, not exotic ones, but everyday foods, right? And if we achieve that number, then the dietary diversity increases and that much richer our gut also changes. And also the children, a lot of kids who only eat rice and sauce, rice and butter, and those are not great habits, like Dr. Prabodh said, to begin with, because then your dietary diversity right from childhood is really, really poor.
Absolutely. I think excellent point brought in by Dr. Prabodh and added to by Naseem. In fact, when we look at it from a sensory science perspective, also, taste buds grow back every 2 weeks. So you do have the capacity to train your taste buds to like, presented in the right manner, in a very appealing manner to children. The opportunity to train their taste buds to enjoy foods which have been part of our diet for centuries, yeah, is very much in our hands. So yes, it's not just diet, it is physiology, very much. Very rightly said, Dr. Prabodh. Right, I think we are maybe 10 minutes over time, so if there are no further questions, I don't think there are any further questions. Yes, great.
That's all the questions. Thank you.
I would then like to call a formal close to this program with great thanks to both our speakers today. And Nazneen, really fantastic session. You covered a very holistic approach to diet, yes, but very, very pertinent points. The role of overuse of OTC drugs, the role of habits, the role of mood. Where do we get the serotonin from if it is not being numbed by the Netflix and so on? A fantastic, thoughtful lecture today. Really enjoyed the details. I've also taken a screenshot of your recipe, though I expect very much and request that I get a pack from you directly. I have taken a screenshot and I look forward to trying it out. Fantastic session, Nazneen. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It is a pleasure.
And Dr. Prabodh, is there anything that you would like to add at the conclusion? We are otherwise, as always, really happy and delighted that you could join us. I know you're traveling. Despite that, you found the time to come and start off the session in your own special style, reminding us that what we are setting out to do is nothing new. It's something that we as Indians have as a treasure for centuries now. Fantastic introductory session and a very thoughtful closing comments as well just now on the physiology. Would you like to add anything further, Dr. Prabodh? I think he may not be able to speak. So with that, thanks once again to all the participants who joined us. Thank you, Dr. Nazneen, Dr. Prabodh. We'll close the session. Thank you and good day. Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.